Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Internet Mysteries. I will be your host, Decaf92. Before we get into today's story, I'd like to invite all of you to visit my Patreon. Top tier patrons will receive access to my videos well in advance, and will be invited to the Internet Mysteries Discord server, where they will be able to see aspects of my video making process, as well as offer suggestions regarding future videos. Alternatively, people interested in supporting my work in another way can donate to my Kickstarter campaign to make an Internet Mystery book, where I will compile all the stories I have read throughout the years. Also, feel free to visit my merch shop, where you may pick up mugs, t-shirts, and Internet Mystery stickers to show your support. Links to all of these can be found in the description section, as well as a link to the source for today's episode. Finally, please like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of my work in the future. Well, without further ado, let us begin tonight's episode of Internet Mysteries. Dear David. In August of 2017, Adam Ellis, an internet comic artist, posted a story to Twitter about the strange goings-on in his apartment. He stated his belief that his apartment was haunted, spurred on by the relatively frequent bouts of sleep paralysis he had dealt with a few months ago. He spoke about his visions of a small boy with a misshapen head, going so far as to illustrate its visage from memory. Later, he reported having a dream about a younger girl in a library, who told him that he had been visited by Dear David. The girl warned him, "He's dead. He only appears at midnight, and you can ask him 2 questions if you say Dear David first." She continues, "But never try to ask him a 3rd question, or he'll kill you." Now, thoroughly unsettled, Adam decided it was time to get some answers. On a later night, Adam once again had sleep paralysis, during which time he saw Dear David. He asked the boy, "Dear David, how did you die?" To which the spirit replied quietly, "An accident in a store." Adam then asked, "Dear David, what happened in the store?" David responded, "A shelf was pushed on my head." Finally, Adam asked a 3rd question, "Who pushed the shelf?" But this time, David did not reply. After his dream, Adam began doing research, all of which came up empty. Things go quiet for a time, until a few days later, his cats began to claw and sit in front of his door, sometimes meowing and hissing as if there were some unseen intruder just outside. It seems the cat's strange activity coincided with the midnight hour. For 6 nights in a row, Adam documented his cats sitting in front of his door. Finally, Adam works up the courage to look through his peephole and even snap a few pictures with his phone. He points out a strange shape in one of the photos before taking another picture to compare. In these 2 photos, it becomes apparent that something had shifted out of sight. After many suggestions from people reading along, Adam decided to attempt to document his haunting, beginning with an audio recording through the night, during which time he documented 3 strange instances. Here is the first. Here is the second, for which he clarifies that of all the recordings, this is the only one with this distinctive ambient sound. Finally, in the recording immediately after the static, Adam picks up another slap before groaning in his sleep. Next, Adam began using a Polaroid camera in an attempt to capture an image of his haunting. He started by taking pictures of his apartment, but when he takes a picture of the hall outside his front door, the image develops completely black. He takes a few more pictures, even comparing the black photo to one he had taken with his finger over the lens. He then posted a video of himself walking around his apartment taking these photos, including one of his living room and one of his hallway. The living room photo develops normally, but we watch as the picture of his hall forms completely black in real time.
Okay, now I'm gonna take a photo of the hallway just to show you what that's like. And as you can see, the first one has already developed. So let's see what this one does. It's gonna take a minute. But it is developing black. So I don't know.
Eventually, at the behest of many people following the story, Adam used sage to purify his home. A day later, however, Adam simply tweeted, "The sage did not work." He goes on to describe a dream in which he and David sit quietly in his bathroom. Adam remarked upon David's shrunken form, as well as his feelings that the dream was a bad omen of things to come. About a week later, Adam had another dream, in which David was dragging him through an old abandoned warehouse. Later that day, Adam awoke with a large bruise on his arm. He attempted to ignore the injury, but later still, he came across an abandoned cart service depot, one which, up until recently, was almost always filled with carts being repaired. That night, Adam began receiving phone calls. For weeks, Adam received phone calls with a blocked caller ID. He answered only once and reported that on the other end of the line was only electric static, eerily similar to the static he had recorded some time ago. After a few moments, he could hear ragged breathing on the other side, before, finally, a small, faint voice whispered, "Hello?" Wrought with terror, Adam hung up the phone immediately. A few days had passed before Adam tweeted again. He mentioned that he would soon be traveling to Japan on vacation. He remarked that if he can make it to the trip, he believes this whole episode will end. As a precaution, he purchases a pet monitoring camera so he can check in on his cats while he's gone. The camera was connected to his phone and would notify him whenever there was movement in his apartment. On a weekend he was going to be away from home, Adam decided to test his new camera. He received a few notifications for his cats running through the house, but then he received one around 11 p.m. When he checked the feed, he saw nothing, but upon closer inspection, he realized that a small rocking chair in view of the camera had begun to move. In the days that followed, Adam posted a few more videos from his pet camera, including one in which a cactus fell from the shelves onto the floor, and another one with his cats behaving very strangely. Eventually, however, Adam leaves for Japan, and this is the last we hear of his haunting. If you enjoyed this video, I urge you to like and subscribe, so that, in the future, you can see when I post a new internet mystery. Again, I do this for a living, so if you enjoy my content, I hope you might consider contributing to my Patreon, pledging to my Kickstarter, or buying some of my merchandise. As always, I'm Decaf92, and thank you for watching.